Flashlights are next level, high quality LED lights with a lifetime warranty. Brilliance is all I can say. We're going to give you a full tutorial and breakdown on how to install these the proper way and get it going. They come in an assortment of colors: cool white, warm white, blue white, then blue, green, red. Obviously have the combined RGB and RGBW colors, which will do any color you want at any given time, which is what we were running today. For any of the single lights, you don't need anything other than a rocker switch to power them. But for the RGB and RGBW, you do need a flashlight's RGB controller. So let's go look at what it takes to wire these up. This is an RGB LED strip. The RGBWs come with a 5th wire for the white. The black is actually the power or load end. And the green, red, and blue wires are actually grounds. And so the controller pretty much controls which light will be shown or which group of lights will be shown by manipulating the grounds. So if you have strings of these, you'd want to cut some of this off, pull out strings, and get ready to kind of twist them together and run them all into the RGB control, which looks just like this. There's a little breakdown wiring chart of how we did this. First, we run a connection from the battery to the switch, and we control the RGB on to the switch. It can be part of a switch panel or a single rocker switch. Then you can also just run it directly to the battery. Some people do that and control the switch directly with their phone, although it is much easier to run it on a simple rocker switch. That way the boat doesn't immediately light up without your control once you put the power on. One end of the RGB controller is black and red, that powers the actual unit, and the other end is the RGB wires themselves, which hook directly into either the leads, or in this case we ran an amp. Flashlights makes its own custom amplifier specifically for these LEDs when you reach a linear feet of at, close to, or over 50 feet, allowing there to not be such a burden on the RGB controller because it has assistance from the amp. You can run the amp on a fuse block that's powering other items, but I have found that running it directly to the battery on a post connection lets it run a little better by itself. Once all of that is connected, you are then ready to wire the LED strips directly to the amp. Wiring them can be tricky because you have to run equally the same diameter wires, sometimes 2, 3, 4 of them, all the way into the amp or the RGB controller, which has the same diameter wire, so it doesn't quite match up with a butt connector. You can solve this by daisy chaining the wires all the way down to one single wire for each RGB. That way the 4 single wires will mesh into the parent wire more smoothly on the amp or the controller. You can also just splice all 4 wires of one color and then slowly taper it down to a smaller lead that runs into, say, a 12 or 14 gauge butt connector much smoother. You can also buy electrical tape that has different colors. That way you can label the wires as so you don't mix them up. Or you can just get different color wire spools to match the RGB colors and do it that way. Once they're all matched up, it is a lot of wiring, but it is worth it. The payoff is substantial. Once you're here and they light up on the switch or on the battery direct connection, you can now download the Flashlights app. You can use the automated RGB features, set your own RGB color scheme, or make individual colors that you want the boat to be at all times. And though we are using these primarily on boats, Flashlight does do kits for cars, UTVs, trucks, even golf carts. And some people even use these kits to light up tubs and pools. Be sure to check out their full website and see everything they make, from their courtesy lights, floodlights, light bars, and even commercial lights for big rigs. Check it all out here. See you guys out there on the next one.